Welcome back to We on Wild is One. We're glad you're watching. Time now for Pulse. I'm Eric Njoka. The headlines. Taliban authorities rush in rescue teams to quake-hit regions of eastern Afghanistan, with scores transported to hospitals in provincial capital Jalalabad. At least 800 people are feared dead in a magnitude 6 earthquake in the northeastern Kunar province. India sends in humanitarian aid and tents for 1,000 families. Big signals of Modi-Xi-Putin bonhomie as a keenly watched SCO summit in Tianjin, China, comes to a close. Detailed talks between Modi and Putin amid bonhomie as the two travel in the Aurus vehicle ahead of a bilateral meeting. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi says global governance should rely on coordination and cooperation rather than unilateral bullying, stresses that global governance dominated by a few nations must not continue. India's Petroleum Minister Hardeep Singh Puri says the country's adherence to all international norms prevented a catastrophic $200 per barrel shock. Puri rubbishes charge that India has become a laundromat for Russian oil. Ukraine's foreign ministry criticizes Shanghai Cooperation Organization summit declaration for avoiding topic of Russia's war in Ukraine. Hundreds of students gather on the streets in major Indonesian cities, defying fears of a crackdown on protests after deadly riots over the weekend. 6 people feared dead as massive protests forced President Prabowo Subianto to make a U-turn on Hyde Parks for lawmakers. Germany-led multinational naval exercise Northern Coast 2025 underway in the Western and Southern Baltic Sea. 2,500 soldiers and 40 ships from 14 NATO nations rehearse moves to protect the Baltic Sea region. The exercise is to continue till the 12th of this month. Heavy rains lash the Indian capital region, throwing life out of gear, waterlogging and traffic snarls. These are images from Gurugram, where there is a massive traffic jam. Britain sweltered through its hottest summer on record, says UK Met Agency. Mean temperature recorded at 16.1 degrees Celsius, surpassing the previous record of 15.7 degrees Celsius recorded in 2018. Delhi government issues flood alert for the Indian capital after 29,000 cusecs of water were released into the Yamuna River from the Hathnikund barrage upstream. Traffic on major bridges crossing the river to be stopped.
Artificial intelligence has made strides in just about every field. Medical science is no exception. Doctors, thanks to AI, are now able to detect critical heart conditions in seconds, literally. And the magic wand they seem to be wielding for this is an AI-powered stethoscope. According to a report by The Guardian, the AI stethoscope, developed by a team of researchers from Imperial College London and Imperial College Healthcare NHS Trust, can identify a total of 3 heart conditions within 15 seconds or less. The instant diagnosis can be a real time saver so that the patients can be given the treatment that they need without wasting any more precious time. And the report says that the AI tool can also perform an ECG right then and there, filling in the doctor's monitoring the case with quick and efficient inputs. And the workings of the AI stethoscope demonstrated on about 12,000 patients across 200 UK clinics reportedly. But how different is it really from a traditional stethoscope is the immediate question. A traditional centuries-old stethoscope has been a medic's trusted companion, of course, for locating conditions by listening to sounds within the body. And now this AI stethoscope is not just a mere upgrade, but something which can diagnose the lightest of variations or anomalies in heartbeats, as well as the blood flow that can bypass human hearing under normal circumstances. Experts suggesting innovations like this one could transform cardiac care, minimizing risks of heart failure, heart wall disease, abnormal heart rhythms going undetected, and can prove to be life-saving in ways more than one.
We bring the humanoid Olympia to Olympia because this is the place where humans started testing their limits for the first time, and this is where robots will start again. And we want Greece to be at the forefront of robotics and physical AI.
So this is the Psionic Ability hand. It's made for both humans if you're missing a hand or on robots. And I can control it with these 2 buttons, so I can shake hands with it. We can do different grips with it, so you can make a pinch with it. If you're at a rock concert, you can rock on. And one of our user favorites is the finger wave, where you can see all the different fingers moving right over there.
So I'm here at the site of the SU Summit venue, and they have this hand which imitates my hand movement. So there are a lot of robots here. Robots to give ice creams, robots who speak with AI, and robots who basically imitate your hand. Can it shake hands?
It can shake hands.
It can't?
Can.
But it has a very strong grip. It has a very strong grip. But this is what keeps many busy when we are not reporting. We are playing with robots.
Indonesia is still on the boil. Protests against extravagant parks for country's lawmakers have turned violent. At least 6 people have died in a showdown. The government has announced to strip the hefty parks, but the population that is reeling under a rising cost of living crisis continues to take their anger to the streets. Here's a report.
Protesters, troops and violence blazing on the streets. World's largest archipelago is in chaos. Indonesia's government is facing strong headwinds. Extravagant perks for the lawmakers, police violence and rising inflation has fueled this anger. Protests began last Thursday. Triggering point was the housing perks received by the lawmakers. The amount was $3,000 a month, that is 10 times the average wage of a person living in Jakarta. This show of anger and dissent against the government quickly spread across the different parts of the country. During the initial hours of protests, demonstrators approached the parliament, where the thing got tensed and then turned violent. Protesters hurled stones at the police that responded with tear gas. The situation deteriorated further after a vehicle of country's police allegedly ran over a taxi driver. At least 6 people have died in the violence that followed. Protesters torched regional parliament building in Makassar, killing 3 people trapped inside as the flames spread. The home of Indonesia's finance minister Sri Mulyani was also ransacked. The growing turmoil forced President Prabowo Subianto to reverse course. He has now pledged to scrap lawmakers' perks, including a controversial $3,000 housing allowance.
The leaders of the People's Representative Council have reported that they will revoke some of their policies, including the amount of allowances for members of parliament and a moratorium on official visits abroad.
Country's capital has been forfeited. Soldiers are patrolling the vicinity of Parliament. The armored vehicles have been deployed to safeguard the building. Country's defense minister has issued a sharp warning. The officers will not hesitate to take firm action.
Officers will not hesitate to take firm action against rioters and looters who entered private areas or state institutions that have been ensured to always be in safe condition.
As of now, the streets of Indonesia are relatively calm. Major students and civil society groups have suspended the demonstrations. But the next wave of protests looms, as demonstrations are yet to be called off. For now, the forces are holding the line. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
The Trump administration is preparing a major immigration surge in Chicago, and it could involve a naval base just outside the city. Planning documents reviewed by the New York Times showed the Department of Homeland Security has asked to use Naval Station Great Lakes, about 35 miles north of Chicago, as a staging ground for a month-long operation. The request calls for housing up to 250 officers, a command center, and space for equipment. President Trump hasn't been subtle.
As you all know, Chicago's a killing field right now, and they don't acknowledge it.
Trump's border advisor Tom Homan confirmed discussions about the base, but didn't give numbers. A former senior ICE official told The Times the scope looks like a sustained military-style operation, not standard enforcement. ICE has already made about 1,400 arrests in Illinois since Trump returned to office, most of them in the Chicago area. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson described the plan as a repeat of past tactics, saying the city will defend residents' rights. Governor J.B. Pritzker called the proposal illegal and unconstitutional and vowed to resist. Democratic Senators Tammy Duckworth and Dick Durbin also condemned the move as unwanted and a shameful exploitation of the military. Trump has framed Chicago as his next law and order target. Some civic and business leaders warned the operation could damage Chicago's reputation and economy. Governor Pritzker says Illinois will pull every lever to protect its residents and their rights.
Where's that trash? Trash.
Here it is to kick us out, even though we were fighting fire.
Hey, you wanted to take a picture, Adiba?
Yes. Yeah. Those are boys. These guys are trying to take.
Right? Because I only got a couple names left on your list.
Who the
Yeah, so I can get these. Yeah, one of your drivers can say, like, one of your drivers can stay here to drive that last vehicle out.
Oh, I'm staying.
The rest of your vehicles are going to pull
Keep
out.
one driver,
All right.
last driver.
And then they'll be back at camp as soon as I get their names cleared.
We ain't leaving Rigo or Jose.
Yeah, no, it's up to you guys. Yeah, but I just need you guys out of the closed area.
Yep. That's it.
Oh, they're trying to make us leave now?
I got load up a first free throw. I got to. We're not going bar. Be on federal land.
Cop. You guys are straight up. This is what they do, guys. This is what they do. Trying to take our team away from us right here.
Jack, you're loaded up over here, right there. You got us up here, keep
Those guys call themselves Native American. Those guys right there call themselves Native American.
We can indeed confirm that there was GPS jamming, but the plane landed safely in Bulgaria. We have received information from the Bulgarian authorities that they suspect that this was due to blatant interference by Russia. We are, of course, aware and used to somehow to the threats and intimidations that are a regular component of Russia's hostile behavior. Of course, this will only reinforce even further our unshakable commitment to ramp up defense capabilities and support for Ukraine.
China now, where that country's president is hosting a high-stakes summit that amounts to a rare show of force with world leaders, including Vladimir Putin. Janice McHugh-Freyer is there for us now. Janice, a potentially significant moment here for Beijing on the world stage.
Well, and this is not an obscure get-together, Hallie. The leaders of Russia, India, Iran, Pakistan, Turkey, a dozen other countries are here. And consider the timing. Just after President Trump met with Vladimir Putin about Ukraine and slapped 50% tariffs on India for buying Russian oil. Xi Jinping met today with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and still to come, a massive military parade in Beijing. Putin is invited. So is North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, who President Trump says he wants to meet this year. It will be a chance to show off China's growing military might, but it will also be rich in optics. The first time these three leaders will be seen together, and that will be getting a lot of attention, including at the White House. Hallie?
Janice McHugh-Freyer in China, thank you.
It's been described as the scariest group you've never heard of. President Xi Jinping has rolled out the red carpet as he welcomed leaders from Russia, India and Iran ahead of a regional security summit. Beijing wants to strengthen its alliances as Donald Trump's tariffs cause unrest across the world. US correspondent Rob Scott reports.
It's been dubbed the axis of upheaval, and that's really not surprising when you take a look at who's on the guest list. It's basically a roll call of authoritarian leaders. The red carpet rolled out for the likes of Russia, Iran and Belarus, all of them gathering in China for the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit, a security forum bringing together 26 countries from across Asia and the Middle East.
The SCO has grown into a significant force in promoting a new type of international relations and building a community with a shared future for humanity.
For Xi Jinping, it's a chance to position China as an alternative to the United States, a place countries can turn to for stability and leadership as the globe grapples with the chaos Donald Trump's return to office has caused. Of most concern for the West will be the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's attendance. After India was hit with massive US tariffs, he appears to be pulling away from America, gravitating closer to China.
We are committed to taking our relations forward on the basis of mutual trust, respect and sensitivity.
Vladimir Putin will use the forum to shore up support for his ongoing war with Ukraine. A few days of frenzied diplomacy that will be rounded out with a giant military parade through Beijing's Tiananmen Square on Wednesday. North Korea's Kim Jong-un, one of the guests of honour. China projecting an image of military dominance and political firepower during these uncertain times.
Nella giornata di oggi la colata ha diminuito il suo flusso e anche i tremori sono calati e quindi di conseguenza rispetto ai giorni scorsi che c'era un flusso molto consistente, oggi è diminuito parecchio, però comunque continua la sua come dire, uscita. E niente, noi siamo qua per controllare appunto l'afflusso più che altro dei turisti che sono tutti accompagnati dalle guide, però facciamo in modo che anche le guide stesse rispettino i loro obblighi, insomma, cioè non avvicinarsi troppo alla colata, avere gruppi di massimo 10 persone e per ora sembra che le cose stiano funzionando bene.
Shifting focus now to Afghanistan. A magnitude 6.0 earthquake left over 800 people dead, thousands injured. In eastern Afghanistan, entire villages, in fact, have been reduced to rubble in many parts. Dozens of houses destroyed in what is being feared as one of Afghanistan's worst earthquakes. Several injured were recovered from the damaged sites and carried by choppers to the hospital. Other images showing a helicopter carrying casualties landing on the runway and soldiers rushing to help the injured with medical aid assisted by the locals. Rescue operations underway with teams trying to reach people in the remote areas hard to access and many pleading for urgent help.
This is Mazar Dara in Nurgul district, Azizabad village. Almost the entire village has collapsed. The earthquake struck at midnight. Children are trapped under the rubble. The elderly are under the rubble. Young people are under the rubble. We need help here.
And according to the Taliban ministry, the earthquake killed at least 600 people in the eastern provinces of Kunar and Nangarhar alone. And the toll continues to mount as several remain missing. Authorities warning that a disaster of this scale is bound to burden resources of the country, reeling under aid cuts.
The earthquake struck around 12 a.m. We moved to the area at 1 a.m. We were in contact with other departments. Since the road was bad, we reached the earthquake-struck area early in the morning on foot and started treating the injured.
The humanitarian loss drew reactions from around the world. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi extended his condolences over the huge loss of lives as India sent food and other aid supplies in this hour of grief. Questions also surfacing on how a shallow earthquake with this magnitude and a depth of only 8 kilometers managed to cause such extensive damage. Shallower earthquakes tend to cause more damage and are often followed by a series of aftershocks. At least 5 in this case, which continued throughout the night. Afghanistan is not new to deadly earthquakes. In October 2023, an earthquake in Afghanistan's western province of Herat killed at least 2,400 people. As per the Taliban administration, in September 2022, meanwhile, at least 8 people were killed after tremors hit Kunar province. Major earthquakes also caused a great deal of damage in the months of January and June the same year. And the latest one has reignited fears of broader risks in the region as well as in the neighboring countries. In fact, countries like Pakistan, Nepal, sharing tectonic zones with Afghanistan, all of which are located near the junction of the Indian and Eurasian plates, a highly active tectonic area. And this essentially means that tremors in one part can very well impact the rest. In fact, experts warning that earthquake stress can migrate like it did for this one, shaking buildings from Kabul all the way to Pakistan's Islamabad.
beautiful, rare sundog. Never seen anything like it. Actually, there's two. Holy cow, 3 sundogs.
बाहर निकलो और निकल जाओ वो गया ये गया वो बाहर निकलो वो बाहर निकाले ये कुछ करो इनको निकालो वो बाहर आ जाओ वो बाहर निकलो और निकल जाओ वो गाड़ी छोड़ो ये बाहर निकलो यार वो बाहर निकल यार वो बाहर निकल गाड़ी छोड़ो बाहर निकलो वो पीछे आ जाओ
फको पैंट चो 2 बंदे ओ सीधे हो गए गाड़ी में चलो वो आ रहा तुम्हारी यार आगे चलो आगे निकलो यहाँ से उनको बुलाओ यार वो क्यों खड़े हैं बोलवा चल दिया भाई से कब की आवाज आ रही थी पता है पहले आ रही है एनवायरमेंट से बादल है ओ माय गॉड जय माता दी ऐसे निकलो आगे चलो और जयेश भैया पीछे आगे